up guys, how you're doing? Welcome to another video. So we have it, the Osmo Action 2 is here, and it is quite different from what we expected, mainly because it is a lot smaller. We're going to talk all about that in just one second, and most importantly we're going to be talking about how it compares with the Osmo Action 1, because that's one of the big questions that I certainly asked myself. Was it worth the upgrade to the Osmo Action 2 compared to the Osmo Action 1? Is it worth spending the money? Because there is quite a difference in money, and we're going to talk about that later on in the video as well. Lots of comparisons, putting the two together, Osmo Action 1 versus the Osmo Action 2. I think this is going to be a great video. Before we get into that comparison, I'm going to ask you guys to do all the usual YouTube stuff for me. Hit that like button, hit the thumbs up on the video, helps me out loads and loads on my channel. Really appreciate it. That's why I ask you to do it for each and every video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We've got some other Osmo Action 2 videos coming over the course of the next couple of weeks, and make sure you stick around for those. Okay, cool. So look, the Osmo Action 2. It is different from what we expected, right? It is the modular system, and it is really tiny. To give you an idea, let's put it up next to the Osmo Action 1. If I bring those in close for you guys, can we get this to focus? You can see the size difference. It really is quite a big difference. It is a lot smaller. Now, of course, that is just the camera itself. With the modular system, there are other different bits that you can get. Now, I bought the kit that came with the additional front screen module. So when that goes on, it clicks onto the side with magnets, and we'll talk about that in just a second as well. And you can see, of course, that does make the size a lot bigger. It basically doubles the size of the camera. And then, in fact, actually, that makes it a little bit bigger than the Osmo Action 1. So you can see the size difference, a little bit wider if you put the two of them together. Weight-wise, if you put these two together, I would say the Osmo Action 2 then works out slightly heavier. This isn't a scientific review, slightly heavier. Whereas, of course, if you take off the screen module, it is a lot lighter. It really is light. I've seen them say this is the same weight as an egg or something like that, but it really is quite light. So talking about the magnets, the way these different modules stick together is they literally kind of magnetize together. They just clip straight in. And as well as having a magnet, they have like little kind of side hooks on there. So when it's put together, it's not going to come apart. No, it's definitely not going to come apart unless you like unhook the two hooks. So the way in which the modular system clicks together, I would say, is pretty solid, and it uses the same system to go into the various different base attachment. It clicks onto the base and then it is stuck on there. This one is like the tripod mount with the 1/4 screw in the bottom, and we've also got the other one with like the what I call the GoPro feet on the bottom as well, so that fits onto there. So of course, for maximum versatility, you could just use this small piece. There's a couple of advantages of just using this small piece. There's a couple of drawbacks as well. The advantages is that this unit is so mobile. You can move it just about anywhere. You can attach it to all different things. It's magnetic, so the actual unit itself can magnetize to any kind of metal surface if you want to be able to film something. Of course, with it being lightweight, it's so versatile. You can do all sorts with this. This unit is waterproof as well, so you can take it in the water, in the sea, wherever you want to go. The downside of this unit is that it does not have an SD memory card slot, so you cannot use an external memory card if you're using just this unit. It does have 32 gigs internal storage, and I talked about that in my previous video. The 32 gigs actually for me is probably okay, because I'm shooting like short form kind of vlog bits and stuff. I'm never normally going to be trying to sit like, you know, long footage, so actually the 32 internal memory for me would probably be okay. If you do want an external memory card, that's where you need to use one of the other two modules, either the power unit or the front screen unit. My front screen unit clips on, and then you can plug in an external memory card. It goes in the bottom down here on the back, and of course that enables you to record a lot more footage. Now, if ever I was shooting something longer like a vlog, I would be using this screen, so actually I would then have the option to do that, so that wouldn't matter so much to me. The downside, however, of using this, that as soon as you attach one of these modules, whether it's the power bank or the screen, these ones are not waterproof. So this unit is waterproof, this one is not, and the power bank one is not. So as soon as you attach one of those on there, your Osmo Action is no longer waterproof. So that is quite an issue. And one of the biggest things I've already seen people talk about, of course, with the Osmo Action 1, you get the unit, you get the front screen, you get the external memory card, and the entire thing is waterproof. So everything we've got right here, we already have right here in the Osmo Action 1, and it's waterproof. So the Osmo Action 1 is maybe winning in the waterproofs areas. For me though, with this modular system, I do love the versatility. It's really cool. It comes with like a kind of a necklace pendant thing that you stick over your neck and you stick it down inside your shirt like this. Little magnet kind of goes on the front, and then your camera slots onto that front magnet. I love that. The fact that I could film something really subtly. If I've got like my backpack and stuff on, that's just going to sit right between my backpack straps, and it's not going to be kind of too obvious, fairly subtle if I want to film like a point of view thing, which I really like. Something like packing my bag, I could film that nicely using this setup. So I really do like the versatility of that small module. For me, that is a big plus side over the Osmo Action 1. If I want to mount this like somewhere like that, I need the chest strap and I turn up looking like RoboCop. Whereas with this thing, literally just stick that onto the mount and I'm good to go record some footage. I really do like that. The versatility and the size for this, Osmo Action 2, big advantage. Okay, I'm sure you guys want to see some footage. So I've got the two cameras on the like double mount thing right here, and we are going to record some footage right here in the office. So all of this footage is going to be straight out of camera. I won't have done anything with it. I'm not going to enhance the colours. The colour will be the standard colour that comes with the Osmo Action 1 and Osmo Action 2. I'm not going to have edited it or colour graded it at all, straight out of camera. Right, let's have a look at the footage. So here we go. There's literally a quick comparison of the two of them side by side. We've got the Osmo Action 1 over here, and then we've got the Osmo Action 2 over here. So I mean, I'm only looking at them on the two front screens right now, of course. Both look very similar. The colours maybe on the screen are a little bit brighter on the Osmo Action 2. You can play with the brightness though on the Osmo Action 1, but you do notice the difference in the size of the screen on the screen module on the Osmo Action 2. Much clearer picture, much easier to see than the screen on the Osmo Action 1. So that's quite cool. That's certainly interesting. So we've got Rocksteady turned on both cameras. You can see if I give it a little bit of a move around, I'm maintaining fairly steady, but something which of course is really cool with the Osmo Action 2 is it's got the horizon leveling. So you can see if I start to move my... Look at that, that's real cool. If I start to move my camera side to side, you can see what it's doing on the Osmo Action 1 versus what it's doing on the Osmo Action 2. It's really cool. That's quite impressive. I've seen it on the Hero 10, of course, but never really played with it myself. In fact, you can go all the way to like... Whoa, how far can you go? You guys can see right there. Look at that on the Osmo Action 1 compared to the 2. That is crazy. Right, okay, cool. So we go, so looking at that footage, and I've just looked at that myself, one of the things I do notice is that the dynamic range seems a little better almost with the Osmo Action 1. Now that could just be the setting that I'm in here, but it seemed a lot more contrasty on the Osmo Action 2. Highlights were a lot brighter and the shadows looked a little darker. So that's quite interesting for me, but I did think that the colours were a lot more vibrant with the Osmo Action 2, and overall I think I preferred the footage from the Osmo Action 2. That comparison was cool, and you saw like the Rocksteady and the horizon leveling, so cool. But look, this is an action camera, and unfortunately for me that means we have to go do a little bit of action. So we're going to get out there on the street, we're going to go running up the road, we're going to record some footage so again we can test that Rocksteady. Let's go see what it's like. Okay, so here we are on the Osmo Action 1 and on the Osmo Action 2. Let's do this. Let's get running, let's go. Okay, cool. So in that kind of environment, I actually would say that the Rocksteady was very comparable. I don't think you could notice a huge amount of difference between the two. Maybe if I was being picky, the Osmo Action 2 looked a little bit more steady. The background was really stable in both, but I felt like maybe I was bobbling around a little bit more in the Osmo Action 1 footage compared to the Osmo Action 2. Okay, cool. Footage is one thing. Let's talk about audio. Now, we've talked a lot about microphone adapters and external mics and stuff like that with the Osmo Action 1. You'll be able to use an external mic with the Osmo Action 2 if you want to, but let's check out the audio straight out of camera. So first of all, we're going to test it in here. Going to compare the two. Let's have a look. Okay, so quick audio test. This is the audio straight out of camera. I've not played with it, I've not edited it at all. So this is the audio straight from the Osmo Action 1. And this is the audio straight from the Osmo Action 2. Now, of course, this is with the extra screen module, the kind of vlog module if you want to, which has the enhanced microphone. So we will change in just a minute to just the standard camera module. But right now, this is the Osmo Action 1 audio. And this is the Osmo Action 2 audio. So right, let's switch the Osmo Action 2 so we've just got the camera module itself. Okay, done. So just for another comparison, here is the audio from the Osmo Action 1 and here is the audio from the Osmo Action 2. So this is just the camera module without the extra screen module attached. So this is literally just the microphone straight from the smaller camera module. Okay, cool. So, fairly comparable, I would say, listening to those. I do think the audio is better from the Osmo Action 2, and where you do notice a difference is when you're using that front screen module, you do get the enhanced sound. So you definitely can tell an improvement when you're using that, and I would always be using that if I was shooting like a vlog or talking to the camera. So actually, the audio, there is a big plus side there with the Osmo Action 2. But that's sat right here in the office. Let's get out there on the road. Let's go test it in a bit more of a noisy environment and let's see how it holds up. Okay, and here is the audio in just about as bad an environment as you could get. I'm right by a main road, it's pretty windy. Here is the audio. So here's the audio straight out of camera on the Osmo Action 1. And then this is the audio straight out of camera on the Osmo Action 2. So this is just with the regular camera module. So audio just from the regular camera module right here. And then this is the audio with the like vlog screen attached. So that's the difference with the vlog screen attached. Okay, so that's interesting. To me, it seems like the Osmo Action 2, when you use the screen with the more kind of surround sound audio, it was picking up a lot more of the background noise and the road noise compared to when you weren't using it. In fact, if anything, it sounded worse because it was picking up so much more of the surround audio. And if I was just comparing that directly with the Osmo Action 1, the Osmo Action 1 probably came out on top with that one. So that's a real interesting comparison if you're using that vlog screen and you get out there into a more noisy environment. Okay, so getting into the usability of the camera. Now, I've always enjoyed the Osmo Action 1. I really like the touchscreen. The Osmo Action 1 touchscreen has been really good. And compared with when I've used GoPro touchscreens, I definitely have preferred the Osmo Action 1. Now, the theme of that has certainly stayed with the Osmo Action 2. The screen is, I think it's haptic is the word, where it kind of has like feedback when you press the buttons, which I do really like. You kind of feel, you know, like you're pressing something and it's really responsive, makes a big difference. And so the touchscreen I really like, which is good because I liked it from the Osmo Action 1. So the usability of the camera so far is really good. Now, something which I have got to talk about, the other reviews of this camera I watched the other day, people were talking about it overheating. Now, overheating with action cameras isn't a new thing, right? There's been a lot of talk about the GoPro Hero 10 overheating. And I've got to say, I noticed it like straight away with the Osmo Action 2. Even when I just had this camera turned on, sat on my desk when I was setting it up and playing with it, I noticed it got really warm. Like, it's sat here turned on right now and it is warm, like noticeably warm. I've never noticed that at all with the Osmo Action 1. When I was charging it, it got really warm, and I did have it overheat once when I was filming. Earlier on, I was playing around, I was shooting in 4K. I was shooting in 4K, I had the Rocksteady turned on in 30 frames per second, and at about, I think it was probably 12 minutes, it did start to give overheating warning. warnings. Now, that is a slight concern because it wasn't just like it was a camera system. The actual camera itself was really hot. Not like burning hot, but noticeably hot. So that is a concern, and that's something which I've never even had to think about that with the Osmo Action 1. So for the Osmo Action 2 to be overheating that much, that might be a problem. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Now, I think a big area with the Osmo Action 2 is going to be the future of this camera and what happens next. We already know that DJI changed the Osmo Action 1 hugely through the course of its life so far with firmware updates. Loads of things have improved with it, like massive, massive improvements. And so you have to assume that that will also be the case with the Osmo Action 2. The fact is modular is a big thing as well, because we have to assume that that means there will be other modules coming our way. Does that maybe even mean that there could be a 360 module coming that in fact would give the Osmo Action 2 360 capabilities? I'm not saying that will happen, I could be totally wrong, but it's a question that's out there because people have been thinking, well, I wanted it to do 360, because I could go use the Insta360 and that's the best action camera nowadays with the 360 footage. And yeah, that is fantastic. So who knows, maybe that could be something that is coming with a future modular update. But we would be naive to think that DJI are just going to leave this camera as it is. They will be working on firmware updates the whole time, and I'm sure they will be improving it. There's not really too much more to talk about with the specs. It does everything you would imagine it can do. It doesn't shoot 8K. You can shoot 4K in 120 frames per second, and that's pretty cool, because with the Osmo Action 1, we could only shoot 1080p at 120 frames per second. And if we do something slow motion, like I'll stick something right here on the screen, you do see the comparison with the 4K 120 frames per second. That is pretty cool. And if you guys are going to be out there shooting like action sports and stuff, you could get some awesome footage doing that. You might only be able to shoot 5 minutes worth of footage before it overheats, but you're going to get some awesome footage doing it. So look, we've tested the footage, we've tested the sound, we've compared some of the pros and cons of both. So that brings us on to the big question, is it worth the upgrade? Well, I think one thing you have to consider with the upgrade is the price. This setup right here, so the actual camera itself, and then the front screen module, this cost me £455, Great British pounds, £455. I believe this same setup is $519 if you're in the US. If you want to get the setup without the front screen, so with the power module adapter instead, then that's £349, and I think that was $399. So if you're in the States, $399 or £349 if you're in the UK. Of course, that is a big difference in price from the Osmo Action 1. Now, if you shop around on Amazon, and prices vary all the time, I've seen this for as low as £250. So you're talking a £200 difference to get the Osmo Action 2. So is it worth the upgrade? Is it worth the £200 extra? Well, I would say this. If you don't have an Osmo Action 1 and you are out and about looking for an action camera, is it worth going that little bit extra, stretching your budget to get the Osmo Action 2 instead of the Osmo Action 1? I would say yes. I don't think you will be disappointed with this camera. The footage is great, the audio straight out of it's pretty good, the versatility and what you can do with it being so tiny is fantastic. However, if you already have the Osmo Action 1, I would suggest it depends on what you want to use it for. If you are someone who is using this camera like I do to kind of vlog yourself and shoot some footage when you're out and about, actually right now with the price being as it is, I don't necessarily think it is worth the upgrade, especially bearing in mind if you are more of a vlog shooter and perhaps therefore intend on shooting some slightly longer videos, you might have an overheating issue with the Osmo Action 2. To counteract that though, if you are more of an action shooter, if you're somebody who wants to take this and strap it to surfboards and on your helmet or mountain bikes and all that kind of stuff, I would then say, yes, it's worth the upgrade to the Osmo Action 2. The versatility of the camera being this small, the 4K 120 frames per second, the horizon leveling with that rock steady makes it so good for action. And so yes, if you're an action shooter primarily, I would say again, yes, it's worth the upgrade to the Osmo Action 2. Now we've got to touch on some of the other comparisons. The modular concept, we've seen it before with the Insta360, and of course therefore there's the question, is this worth it over the Insta360? Maybe that's something we will have to look at in a future video. How does this compare with the GoPro Hero 10? Again, I think that one could be a future video. In the meantime, I hope this helps you guys compare the Osmo Action 1 with the Osmo Action 2. What I will say is I've only played with this for about a day and a half and I've had a hell of a lot of fun with it so far. Looking forward to making some more videos all about it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. As I said earlier, it helps me out loads and loads. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, thank you very much for watching and I will see you on the next video.